Okay, so we're live. Let us know if you can hear and see okay before we start. And let us know too where the volume, I'll turn up a little bit. So looks like this might be more of a talking volume. All good.
Is it not centered? Now, though, it's not centered to the altar in the back.
I know. How do we fix that?
Oh, what a conundrum.
Because I can't move this over. We'll keep it off.
You guys will have to deal with not having a centered thing to the centered sheepling.
I'll have to do
altar.
like this. But it's okay.
That's nice. Okay.
A wee bit of white noise.
White noise. Maybe it's a speaker?
I don't think so. That would be white noise. Maybe I'll adjust from here. Okay, maybe see if this is any, oops, maybe too loud. Let's see if this is any better, if there's less white noise.
Good.
So, Kelly, I'm not sure what you mean by that is a lot. Like, and then right before you said it's faint. So is it, oh, you think it's better now? Okay. All right, we'll go with that.
Yay! We did it. I also turned on the tempura to drown it out.
It all works.
Problem solved. No white noise.
Okay, so before we begin, because you know we're supposed to talk about kind of what we're doing tomorrow. So before we get into that, we'll just start with making an offering to the Sheepling. So on behalf of everyone, before we light that one. So we're going to burn a little bit of camphor and offer that. So that's a sign of kind of cleansing yourself, purification. The idea is that it burns away and leaves nothing left. And in the refined substance of our mind, the key, we're wanting that our own light of divinity to shine, to not only to offer in our own way, but meaning understand how this is a part of that. So we're kind of making that offering, it's a way of connecting on behalf of all of you. We'll just chant Om Namah Shivaya a few times just as a way to connect. So we'll make that offering. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om. So I'm going to explain a little bit, not actually about Mahashivaratri, but that can be tomorrow. So this is more on the preparation, what you can do to kind of get ready. So for one, you want to kind of look at the energetic quality or value of the night. Anytime you see that it's dedicated to something, whether or not somebody even believes in the thing doesn't really matter. So there's a lot of holidays and there's a lot of days that are created. So let's say somebody creates like Women's Day or Men's Day or your Animal Day, your Pet Day. It's like there's a particular consciousness created just by you framing that this is the day for that. So there's a lot to be said just about how you choose to put value in a day. That's just one side, what you put into it. So this, every single day can be very valuable, or it can be seen as not very valuable. Then, of course, there's the astrological side of it all. Everything is energy, so when things are shifting or moving, it creates different kind of pockets or windows or doorways or different ways of kind of coming into contact with a certain quality of energy. So just like the idea of all these years celebrating new moons and full moons, and the idea is that on certain days there's a certain type of an energy available that makes your spiritual striving easier. Every day you can use for spiritual striving, but it's kind of like this. You can live in a house with a lot of people, and there can be a lot of noise and commotion. And you can do your spiritual practice in the midst of that, but if you kind of get away and you sit down, focus and meditate in a kind of a quiet place, you have given yourself the opportunity to have more quietness. So part of it is personally created, but the other part is like the movements of all of these things, the planets and the stars, everything. Everything that is moving is creating a different type of an energetic stew that you are in. So you don't have to make use of it or access of it. Don't have an access to make use of it. And it's still there, and you may not get the benefit very powerfully. And if you're totally looking towards something else, you might miss the whole thing altogether. With spiritual work, a lot of it has to do with sensitivity and connection. It's a choice to be intuitively aware. I don't mean of spirits and things. I mean intuition in a sense of a deepening of understanding of the unity of all things. That's intuition as I use it. That's actually intuition as most enlightenment-based spiritual traditions may use it. So, another intuitive side would be, instead of you making decisions, it's feeling the flow of what's appropriate, not what you want to do, but you're intuiting the flow of the cosmic direction. So, in sense of, any day, there are always within the day some sort of a moment, a minute, a second, an hour, multiple seconds across the day, multiple minutes across the day, perhaps multiple hours across the day, depending. It also depends on where you are on the earth. There's a lot of factors in this. It depends on your family unit. The energy that's around you has an effect, as we all know, consciously, but also subconsciously. Like, you know that if you're at home and you have someone that you know, in the other room, it changes the way you think about like a deeper process, versus if you're completely away, in a secluded place, maybe in a remote place on Earth where like you don't even see people. Like, it just makes you wonder, why am I alive? What am I doing here? Like, it puts you into a different state of mind. So you have an ability to change your energy by how you participate in the elements around you, but the elements also are constantly changing, and they're changing the energy that is participating with you, whether or not you want it to. So when people use the word astrological, a lot of the times what that is really referring to is not just the planets, sun, moon, stars, but everything energetically, because this is a part of the astrological. Earth happens to be a part of it. So everything here is a part of this, the nature, the movement of things. Everything has an influence. So you can meditate while there's a lot of noise around you, or you can meditate while there's quietness. And you can create your own pocket of quietness, but if the universe opens up, so to speak, or alters things energetically, and it just so happens that it creates some quietness, then that's looked at as an opportune time to do your sadhana. If a certain particular quality is being presented by the universe or by the astrological system, like an energy just presented to you, it's easier to contemplate. It's easier to get more benefit out of puja, out of chanting, out of pranayam, out of doing your yoga practices, all of it, the 8 limbs, not just one thing, the asana, but everything. So your yoga makes sense. Everything starts to fall into alignment better, because the stars, quote unquote, are aligning, so to speak, in a different way that suits your spiritual practice. So the idea of the planets, the stars, solar systems, black holes, supernovas, the whole 9 yards, everything that you could think of, is that things are just shifting energetically. And then so Earth, in the middle of all of this shifting, is creating different levels. Sometimes Earth is going to be experienced in certain parts of it as more open, and other times it'll feel more closed. It's like nature is doing what nature always does. So one day it's cloudy outside, cold and rainy. The next day it's sunny and it's blue skies and it's all clear. So it's not any different than what we normally see on Earth in terms of like weather systems. So then astrologically you have weather systems. They're just more subtle. So you might not really see the weather system, but I'm sure you can feel it. You've besides it just being your own emotional stuff, but sometimes you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Sometimes that's just you. That's a you problem. So you have to fix that. But sometimes, even if you don't want it to be a you problem, and you do work on your part, and let's say let's just pretend it's not a you problem. Let's just keep it clear, one side and the other, not make it confusing in the middle, because most things are actually more mixed. They're less this and that. They're more mixed. So sometimes you can be very clear, but the way things are for you on that day astrologically will be less clear. One way of looking at it is like your light days and your dark days. The days that are more, it's kind of not a good way to put it, but it's more of like feeling the support and clarity or not. And then you feel kind of lost, confused, cut off, disconnected, like you don't know what you're doing. You just, even if you try to sit and focus, you just cannot get clear that day. We've all had those days where you just try to sit and you're going to make the day work, and it's very important. You're going to do it, and you're going to, nothing really helps you. So we have other days where it's like we're not even trying and things are easy. So that would be an astrologically, more than likely, can be different factors. Could be maybe your friends and family or whoever you're in contact with is having good astrological days and you're not necessarily, but they're buffering you. So who you hang out with also is a little bit like a medicine. It can buffer you, protect you. So it does matter the company you keep. Like that has a big deal to do with you and your life and your future and everything. It's not, you can't take the company around you for granted. Like everything around you is having some impact. Now, from a true spiritual tradition point of view, you don't practice on good days and forget the bad days. Like you practice every day. Like you don't worry about the days. So when a holiday comes, you're like, you're all in for the holiday. But when the holiday goes, you're all in for the next day, because that's a holiday to you. Every day is a holy day. So it doesn't matter when the festivals come. They're just external reminders of the spirit you always feel, which is to enjoy and celebrate. So for you, every day is a holy day, where you feel the unity, the love, the joy, the bliss, the peace, the connection, the creativity, that focus, on the higher, more divine life. That's what you're really trying to cultivate. Like I've said before, that's the way to go. And the reason why these holy days exist is not just for astrological reasons, because some are not because of astrological that people create in the world. Like I was saying, sometimes it's just like a commemoration of this or that, or remember this, or, it's just ways of getting you to kind of put into your consciousness a different way of being or thinking for that day or for that month or for that week or whatever it may be, which are great things to do because you're trying to add a little bit of unity or love or awareness or maybe holiness into your day or into your week or into your month. So there are ways that you can kind of bridge the gap a little bit faster. So in a sense, there's nothing wrong with any holiday, no matter what it may be. Christmas, Easter, Shivaratri, it doesn't actually matter what system it's even a part of, what religion, what idea, what culture, what country, what continent, what, if your own mind made it up, it's fine. You could create a day for yourself, and call it whatever you want to call it. Tuesday is going to be love day from now on. And that day you're always going to be engaging in lovingness and kindness. And you can do that for yourself. Like you don't need someone to tell you to do this. You can do this yourself. The idea that some day rolls around and then that's the only day you can do it is nonsense. I think we all know that. It's like, but somehow we get stuck in this idea that no, you can't do it until, you can do whatever you want. Every day for you, you can worship, Shiva. You don't need to do it on a certain day or at a certain time. There's a lot of things that, I was actually talking about this before, like the do's and do not do, do this and don't do this type lists for any holiday. And some of it's guidelines, some of it's good, and other times it's a little bit more superstition. And people don't actually know why they're doing this, and they also don't know why not to do this. They just blindly follow some rule, hoping that it's a spiritual thing, when you could just be blindly, following nothing. And you think it's going to help you, but it's not really going to help you. At least your faith to try is going to help you. So there'll be some help, but if you're really wanting the full help, number one, look to yourself as that power, that source of empowerment. Open up that amazing energy, that Shakti that's within you, and let it out, because that's the first thing. It doesn't matter if there's a powerful, holiday or a powerful astrological time. If you're not going to participate or open up to it and receive the energy, there's not much you're going to get from it, right? I remember when I was a little kid and it was Christmas time and I was like all moody. It just wasn't really good. It's just not your thing at the time. Doesn't matter what the holiday is. When you're moody, you don't want to participate. Then it doesn't matter if it's supposed to be a fun day. It's not fun for you in that moment. So you have to show up. That's the first part. You would think it's actually the astrological sign, like whatever that is for you, the occurrence, astrologically speaking, is the first thing. And that's not true. It's you have to be ready and willing. Then all the pockets of how energy's shifting and changing and peeling back the layers of Maya, the layers of illusion being made more relatively thin for us externally, lets you have an opportunity to make your own Maya thinner. You can stretch and pull it to make it thin and see-through. You don't have to make it so clunky and big, where it's hard to tell anything other than just what you're used to thinking of and seeing. So, but you're half of the equation, and the universe is the other half of the equation. So when the universe shows up and says, "Hey, imagine it's going to send you an email." I was going to say letter, but like, who gets letters other than from the bank, the government? So imagine you get an email from the universe. It says, "Hey, I've been thinking about you. Guess what? There's this great party that's going to happen. I'm going to, for a moment, around this time, maybe during the night, I'm going to open up the layers of Maya, make it relatively thin for you, so that it can be easier for you to do your sadhana and to get so much more progress, or you can get so much more power from your practices during this time, so you don't feel like you're wasting your time as much. You feel like you're, going for it strong." That would be like the idea of an astrological event creating the right container for you to participate in. Notice you have to participate again. It's like, if you don't participate, now I'm not saying that you need to participate in any event that we're having. I'm not, I wouldn't be that weird. But you have to participate in some form of sadhana. You have to focus in a way where you can collect your attention. All of those streams of mind need to be brought in and put towards something that has some authentic consecration value. Like, we don't do pujas to just anything. And not just for the symbol. We take something that's actually been blessed, something that's actually consecrated. So when we do puja, it's actually to something that's consecrated. So, which there's a lot of freedom in that. You could mess up and do this, and it doesn't even matter, because when something's blessed, that which is always compassionate always makes everything right. So you don't have to really worry. Which is better to think of spirituality that way than a bunch of rules of do this and don't do this. Like, it's good for discipline. I always say, if you don't have discipline, you need the rules to discipline yourself. But it should never be like taking your heart out of it. Like, you should always have that permeability, that love, that power within your own being to enjoy it still. So that's a bigger, longer topic. Won't even bother going that way. But so, things to do. I just said forget about the do and do not list. So things to do and things not to do for tomorrow. This is not actually going to be what you would see on a calendared list for Maha Shivaratri. So this is going to be more what I'm going to tell you from a spiritual principle basis. It won't be the superstition aspects of it. It's going to be this. You want to start your day cleanly. So when you see stuff like wake up, how you'll see it written would be something like, wake up, take a bath, and then if you're near some holy river, then you're supposed to go there, but you take a bath or do your prayers and chant, then you wear clean clothes, and then you proceed for the day. You don't have to do some prayers and chanting, and then you set yourself up. That's totally fine. But you would probably want to know the reason why, so it helps you. It's what you do externally. Yes, it does benefit you. If you clean your body is cleaner. But one of the things is the oils and things that come out, they have value, but also there's different little things that will be on your body, whether from dust and dirt and this and that and critters and things that are microscopic that you don't see, that they're not bad, but they have their own consciousness. So that they all move. And so if you want to move here and it's moving down here, at baser kind of level, instinctual, biological function of little microscopic Critterville, like it has its own thing. That might sound like it's a pretty mundane thing because you feel like you're this big and it's just these little microscopic things, but it's just fields of consciousness. Dirt has it, I don't want to call it dirt because it's actually to be respected, because you're built out of dirt, if you want to say, so it's not dirt per se, it's a term that gets thrown around, but this is the life-giving soil that has created everything that you eat, from bananas to rice to et cetera, et cetera. So But the point is that all objects have a particular consciousness. So if you have, wherever you live, you'd actually want it to be clean. So it's the same principle. And I don't mean just scrubbing things. I mean like put things away, put them in their closets. The point being that you're getting the extra little things of attention, every object has energy on it. It has a lot of energy on it. It has the energy of the manufacturer. It has the energy of the reasons why you bought it. It has the energy of what you think it is and what its relationship to you is. It has energy of other people who have, looked at it and participated with it or carried it with you, to help you lug it around or something like that, or sat on your couch or whatever. Everything's been energetically affected, compromised, if you will. There's a lot of frequency or vibration all around you, and it's all carrying different signals, not good or bad, but just different signals. Let's say that you're trying to talk to somebody and you're in a positive place, but everyone's wanting to talk about positive stuff. But you're trying to talk to one person and you can't hear that one person in the conversation you really want to have because the other 20,000 people are talking about positive stuff. It's all positive, it can all still be good, but if you can't focus, you can't get any of it. It just sounds like a bunch of, like just the background chatter of a crowd. You can't really get anything from that. So this isn't a question of good or bad. This is a question of knock the frequencies down in your life that are going to take from your ability to focus on one singular aim. So this is about concentration. This is about collecting your energy and having it go in the direction that you want it to go. Bring all of your attention into that one singular focus. So when you wake up and you take a shower, take a bath, whatever you want to do. The idea is it's external, it's an actual physical thing, and it has cleanliness value to it, but it's also a symbol for the way that you're supposed to be living throughout the day. Live clean. So anything that could make you, quote unquote, dirty, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but, taking on extra energies, leave it out. So for most people, it's like any email, because it's not just the email, the frequency that will cling to you after. It doesn't just go away. It sticks on you and you're done with the email. And now you've got this email floating around you. Even if you're not even thinking about it, it has affected you. So it's very important what you say to people, because that energy clings to them and it works through them through the rest of maybe their life, maybe their incarnations. But at least that day, at least the next many hours, it'll affect them. So you want to speak cleanly, you want to eat clean foods, or in this case, fasting is usually advised. It depends on you. I don't state what you should do in this sense because it depends on your own health, what you feel you're capable of doing. So if you want to fast, don't want to fast, that is up to you. The idea of fasting is to kind of let the Agni out of the cells and kind of sparkle through and push out all that has been in the way of it shining and being brighter. So you're increasing that level of inner body Agni, rather than when you eat food, your body can't produce as much glowingly outside, and for the mind and focus and meditation and puja and practice, it's too busy digesting food. We digest enough food all year. We don't need to digest for one night. You'll be okay. You can, for the whole day, you don't need to digest food. You'll probably be fine. Again, if you are that type of person where you feel like your blood sugar is really unstable and you can't do that, or you have insulin and all these things, then you do what you feel you need to do. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But so think of your day as you want to start clean and you want to go all the way through the night and end clean the next morning. So 24-hour cycle, you could say, of being awake, conscious, engaged in practice, focusing on starting and proceeding through the day and night clean and ending cleanly. So it's just like keeping yourself calm, clear, in a state of peace. If the world, some local elements around you create any type of disturbance, that's okay, that's life. You don't get mad at it and say, hey, this is my holy day. It's life. You can't expect other people to give you the grace that they don't have, to give you peace and sanctity or sanctuary. You can't depend on the world to give you that. You need to give yourself that. And even if astrologically it's there, then your only thing is, if it's clear, you need to stay clear, clean and clean to match it. If somebody else comes in and wants to tarnish it or be angry or upset or whatever, it doesn't matter. Don't react to them. Be nice, be clean in yourself, and you can communicate with them until they go. And then when that's over, then you're still in attunement through the whole event. You didn't lose it because the person came. Also prevents you from letting other thoughts in your mind creep in, like, that person made me not stay attuned to my special day. You never want to get too religious about it, because then it turns you into a hard-hearted, closed-off, kind of fanatical person that has lost the scope of love and relationship and connection for the sake of, I want to be, evolved through my religious practices. It's like you just lost your heart to try to gain your heart. There's like this backwards kind of counterintuitive thing. So you have to kind of watch yourself. So if you want to fast, you can. If you want to just watch your food, you can. Wake up clean, be clean, remain clean, focus on the highest, most expansive things that you possibly can. You can chant throughout the day. Morning to day, try to have the first thing you do in the first seconds of awakening, maybe, because that's probably the easiest thing. Just start chanting Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Or you can do a longer one, Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim, anything that you feel it really helps you to align. You can do that. If you want to start chanting something even longer, like the Rudram, or if you want to really go all out, you can. Everyone will do something according to what they feel. Well, number one, that they can do what they want to do, and it doesn't matter what you do. You can do whatever you feel helps you to attune or align. So if you want to just listen to or tune into the past sessions of this Shiva Upasana, you can do that just by watching the videos and intending to attune to the energy. You can be doing puja at home, you can be doing it in your heart, do a manas puja, so anything internal. It is completely up to you what you want to do. The point is to keep yourself clean and focused on the greatest ideal, the supreme ideal. So that is the point. If you're not going to fast, I would suggest eat super minimal foods. Like, it can be very easy, just to go get like a little palm full of like nuts and then a palm full of blueberries, and then that's your breakfast. You might say, I can't do that, it's not enough food. But it's actually really easy. It kind of gets the stomach quiet for some time, and you get some nutrients in you, and you carry on with your day. And it's like, if you want to do a modified fast, keep it like that, super minimal. And then, of course, water. But for some of these, depending on who you are, fasting will not just be for food, but also for water. Like the whole thing is fasted, everything is fasted. So you can do that also. It just depends on what you can do, what you've done before. Most of us have all fasted together for days, so probably most of you know that this is, it's totally fine, it's not a big deal. And it really is a lot easier than people think. Once you fasted one time, and it worked good for you, not the, oh my God, this is so hard, why is it like this? If you're at that stage and you're purifying a lot, then maybe you need to fast some more to get to the place where it's enjoyable. When you're at the beginning stages, sometimes fasting can feel like just one problem after the next. And at a further along stage, you can just feel like every day is an amazing day, and you're just full of light and energy, and you don't even know how you're increasing in so much energy, and you're not even eating any food, and might not even be drinking much water. You might be dry fasting, which is without water. So fasting, again, is optional. You can do it. Now, one of the things that Swamiji says is, a real yogi doesn't burden the Agni, so you don't give it things to do. Number one is you don't want to give it excess thinking. If it's spiritual thinking, that's different. You're increasing your Agni actually, but in a good way, spiritualizing it. If you're giving it food or the body food, you're decreasing Agni. Even if you eat Agni increasing foods, it has to digest for a bit. So if you do want to keep the Agni up, you got to eat small portions, super small. I mean, not like a plate size. I mean, like handfuls, a couple of handfuls, and you're done. That's how you can keep your Agni going, and you need foods that doesn't take the Agni or the fire, and not just digestive fire. I mean, kind of like the overall Agni of your being, the overall kind of fire of your being. When you don't burden the Agni, your mind gets bright and clear. It really helps you with meditation. If you if you don't fast enough where you feel like stomach pains and like, oh, I'm so hungry for like a day or two, usually they go away after like a day and a half or 2 days, so it wouldn't happen probably for anyone on Shivaratri. So it'd probably just hit you there where you're like, oh, I'm so hungry. So it depends on you. If you want to have more of an enjoyable time through, you can still eat, but just do super modified. It's not a big deal. Don't consider yourself a failure or something if you haven't fasted. You're fine. Just, keep it easy. What's more important than doing a lot of these austerities, quite honestly, is making sure that you can stay focused on what really matters, because whether or not you have a big meal is not as important as whether or not you can meditate and stay attuned and do your sadhana. So if you want to try and it's harder for you, you can, to do whatever sadhana that you feel is more complicated, or austerities that are more complicated. If you want to engage in really strong tapasya, whether you want to see the austerity side, life side, or just super focused meditation where you just halt the vibrations of the mind and create that heat, literally heat. Will increase through the being. So tapa, so you get this brightness, and it just kind of fries the impurities off. It depends on if you've ever done it before. If you've never done it before, you might not know what this means, but everyone has this ability to concentrate their mind. So you can focus in a certain way to make it so strong and so bright that nothing can last, similar to the light. Like it's just going to burn through everything that's there, and everything is going to go, until it itself is gone. So for tomorrow, I would say if you're going to try to stay up all night, because that's one of the things you're supposed to do. You don't sleep. Now, I'm not saying don't sleep. I'm just saying you want to do. You don't want to develop a negative association with what should be an enjoyable time, and something you love to do. So, but if you want to stay awake, then you do. What you're trying to do is you're trying to make use of the window of time where the energy of the cosmos is the most clear, so that you can participate. So then something that you can try to do if you want to survive the night is, and you need sleep, and you can't not take a nap in the middle of the day. Just take a nap in the middle of the day and just kind of give yourself some more energy and see if you can make it through the night. What you'll find is that if you just move the body, you won't be sleeping. So if you ever feel sleepy, you just stand up. It's not too hard. If you ever feel sleepy, you just do quicker breathing, things like that can help you to stay up. Do a handstand. You're not going to feel tired. But anyway, so...
Don't do a handstand. Can you imagine? It's like 3 o'clock in the morning and we're trying to do handstands.
Yeah, it can be intense.
Bad idea.
Trying to stay awake. But like anything, if you do it over and over again, it does become easier. Just like if you've, if you've never woken up early before, and always waking up at 3 a.m., going to bed at 10, wake up at 3. If you've never done that as a life routine and you always go to bed at 10 and you wake up at 6 a.m., which is, would be considered late, 7 a.m. or 8 a.m., which would be considered lazy. You know, like if you've never done that 10 to 3, you consider that quite difficult. But if your body and your mind and your emotions and your practice is in a good place, it's like not difficult. It feels like it's, why haven't I done this earlier? This is wonderful. Like your whole body's charged in a different way through the whole day, and you have a longer day and you feel better through the whole day. But you have to get used to it. If you're not used to it, it may feel like this is the hardest thing ever. Like you'll feel like you went to go catch an early flight and you have jet lag. You know, you flew across the whole world and you're in another country and then you have jet lag all day. You'll feel like that. But once you get used to it, it's not a big deal. You find out that you don't really need as much sleep as you thought you needed. So there's a lot of studies that even say that, and by the way, all the studies are across the map. So some say you need 8, some say you need 6, and I've seen studies that say you don't need really any more than 3 or 4 hours, period. Like that's all you need. But it might have to do with health and mind and everything. So anyway, that's a whole other topic. But so try to engage in practice all day long, all night long. Of course, we'll have a little pocket where we all tune in together and we celebrate. So we'll do puja, we'll do kirtan, we'll chant together and do some meditation. So, and the idea is to really just kind of have fun with it and enjoy. That's the most important thing, that you enjoy these things. If you're going to do any austerities, have fun with the austerity. Like challenge yourself, make it a fun thing to do. Don't ever look at it like, oh, I got to do this thing, I hate doing this thing. Like redo it in your mind and get a better perspective and say, you know, I what if I'm that person who could do these things, that I think I'm not that person, I think I can't do these things. What if I'm actually not who I say I am and I'm actually this other person who can actually do these things? There might be some learning curve, but what if I can stay up all night? What if I can engage in practice all day long? What if it is possible for me to meditate more than I usually do and get good success out of it? What if I might be that person? Then on these auspicious days where everything is astrologically lining up to make it easier for you, that would be kind of the day to try. And it's good because when you ever have any experience of something beyond what you normally experience, it makes you rethink who you are. Well, I was that person who always experienced life that way, but now I'm this person who had just experienced life this way. So what does this life mean to me? It makes you rethink your life. And that's how transformation happens in your life, inside and outside. So it's a wonderful way to engage with yourself. So that's probably all that's really important to know. There are so many things that you can do as a part of it, different types of offerings and different types of ways of engaging, different aspects of the puja. And I would say that that's not the most important part. You having a good, knowing what this is and having a good relationship with it, because this is mostly what I explained was the foundation of what this is, which is actually a principle you can take with you to any day or any other holiday for that matter. And then all the rest of the stuff is like little things inside of a celebration. Each celebration is tailored to be a little bit differently. And you'll find with us that we don't even care so much about that. We just kind of do whatever we want to do anyway. And you still have a wonderful benefit from it. It's not like, somebody who follows the whole do list and the do not list is going to have better success than somebody who doesn't follow any of it, but just knows how to connect. They're going to have more success. It's not about what you do and don't do, it's about whether or not you can show up as your seeking, striving, spiritually seeking soul, so to say. I'm not saying soul as Atma, of course, because that's not seeking for anything. It is what it is. And that's actually you. You just, need to rediscover. So you just need to show up to your life, show up to your sadhana, show up to any event, as that spiritually seeking, striving soul, for lack of a better word. And, show yourself that you can make it. Show yourself that you can find, the ultimate principle of Shiva. So we'll leave it there because all these talks can be quite lengthy because, every little point can be spoken about more and elaborated on, and it helps make sense, but there's a threshold where all information starts to feel less important as you get more. So we'll just leave it there. So then we will go ahead and engage in kirtan, and it'll be kind of light today because tomorrow we're gonna go all out. So this is just kind of our time to relax and be with each other. A little less like, full on kirtan day, because we're gonna do that more tomorrow. So, or not. Maybe she doesn't feel like singing.
No, I was saying we could go full on out kirtan tonight. Who knows what will happen?
What are we doing right now?
Drum?
Okay.
You never know what could happen. Oh.
Purnamada. Purnameva Vashishyate. Shiva 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 Shambho, 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 Shiva 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 Shambho Shiva 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 Shambho Shiva 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 Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Mahadeva Shambho Shiva 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 Shambho Mahadeva 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 Shiva 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 Shambho, 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 Shiva 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 Shambho. Jaya Shiva Omkara Ardhangitara Jaya Shiva Omkara Ardhangitara Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva Ardhangitara Brahma Vishnu Sada Shiva Ardhangitara Om Hara Hara Mahadeva Om Hara Hara Mahadeva Om Hara Hara Mahadeva Om Hara Hara Mahadeva Jaya Shiva Omkara Ardhangitara 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 Jaya Shiva
feel Swamiji's grace and guidance, that inner and outer compass, always taking you where you need to be to focus, to get your spiritual work done. May you feel that grace, that Shakti, that Guru Kripa with you all the time, assisting you with your own dissolution process. May you find enlightenment in this lifetime and bring goodness and light to others. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste, and we will see you tomorrow.